look forward to. But anyway, we're going to move on now to Oppenheimer and Barbie. We've trudged on long enough about this battle, and we're finally at it to the point now where our forecasts are out on MovieGainz.com. Check those out. We've looked into the tracking and stuff like that, so we're seeing where it is and what the box office potential for both those movies are. So some of the sources on the tracking is not publicly available, so I've really dug deep into these ones and seeing where they are at and where they can be at a domestic level. Obviously, when it comes to international numbers, it's much harder to kind of guess that kind of stuff. But for Barbie, the opening weekend tracking is showing 95 million. The domestic total for the movie will be around 282 million, and the worldwide total will be at 570 million. Now for Oppenheimer, still good news. Opening weekend at 53 million, domestic total at 175 million, and the worldwide total at 480 million. Now both movies have a $100 million budget, so they can get off from that. What are your thoughts on both these results?
Sorry, I'm just astounded that Oppenheimer's $100 million. I thought it would be a lot more.
More?
Yeah, I thought it would be more. Like, I understand how it's practical, but it's Nolan. I'm just surprised by that.
Yeah.
I did see earlier stuff how Barbie's going to win the opening weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we mentioned it before in the
earlier
podcast. Barbie won the weekend, but won't win the battle, but won't win the war.
Yeah.
So to speak. So that clearly goes to show, I think everyone is just intrigued and wants to see what the fuck a Barbie movie is. Because like with Christopher Nolan, we somewhat know what we're going to get, but we have no idea what we're going to get with Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
So I think everyone's going to flock to the cinemas to see that first.
Yeah.
And then the second weekend is where everyone goes to see Oppenheimer, and that's where Oppenheimer goes to number 2. Oh, sorry, number 1. Wait, nothing comes out that week, eh? Yeah. Anyway, that's my prediction.
Yeah. I think Haunted Mansion comes out.
Number 1, yeah. That's when it goes to number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Oppenheimer, I think that's pretty standard for Nolan films, is around about that mark, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember what Tenet made or Dunkirk.
Tenet you can't include because that opened in the middle of the pandemic.
Yes, I forgot
Dunkirk was 50 million, Interstellar around 47 million. And both of those movies, I think Dunkirk made 180 million and Interstellar made 183 million.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, open around that mark and finish around that mark, which I have Oppenheimer at 175 million.
Yeah. So I think it's very just based on what Christopher Nolan films does. I think that's a very safe bet.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think it has more of a longevity. Because if with Nolan, we know what his quality is like, so we know what we're going to get with him.
Yeah.
But with Barbie, she's made 2 movies, Greta Gerwig, that is, but it's like somewhat out of her comfort zone, she's like taking on a big sort of property. So for her, it could either go either way. It could be fantastic. If it's fantastic, then awesome.
Yeah.
We're going to see pretty much a very competitive second week as well. But if it's like average or trash or not as good, then I think Oppenheimer will take that first spot on the second weekend.
Interesting. I mean, that would have to be a very strong hold on Oppenheimer's part. These movies, I think, were destined to be much closer way back when the memes started. But Barbie's marketing has been phenomenal.
It has.
Like, just the trailers, like, the visual aesthetic that everyone's seeing, they're like, wow. Like, it's very, like,
running
unique.
the world out of paint.
Exactly.
Paint.
Yeah, all that stuff. Barbie, the album, has very famous musical artists backing up tracks to the movie as well. And that goes a long way when it comes to getting the word out to, everyone else. Obviously, the Aqua Barbie World song mixed in with Nicki Minaj and Ice Spice, it just generates a ton of publicity for it. Whether that's good or bad, it's still exposure, and you know what they say: all publicity is good publicity, or bad publicity is good publicity, or something like that. But yeah, any exposure for it is just going to do wonders for it. So I think 95. I think at that point I'm lowballing it.
I think it's going to crack the triple digits.
I think it can. I think it definitely will. Thursday previews are tracking at about 13.5 million for Thursdays right now, which is very high. Oppenheimer's around the 7 to 8 mark. Oppenheimer's got a very different way people are buying tickets. People are buying tickets into the third week because of the IMAX showings.
Yeah.
Like the IMAX showings sold out like nearly instantly. So there's a lot of factors play here. Remember, Mission Impossible is still deep in the game at this point. But you know, with Barbie, it has no premium screen formats. So no IMAX. It's got none of those like luxury ones and all that kind of stuff because Oppenheimer owns it all, and Mission Impossible is going to be feasting off whatever Oppenheimer's left for it. Oppenheimer has 3 weeks exclusive in IMAX, and the IMAX CEO has said, you know, Nolan's like been the guy for IMAX for like over a decade now. Like, so hopefully we can play Mission Impossible after the 3 weeks, but we're going to dedicate it to Oppenheimer, regardless of the money. So it's kind of a good thing that they've done that because they realize what Nolan's done for the IMAX brand and all that kind of stuff and the format. But it's significant. Remember, Top Gun Maverick made 100 million in IMAX last year. So Tom Cruise knows the potential money lost in this. With Barbie not even having IMAX or anything else, it does take away some of its potential. But, you know, this is going to capture everybody because obviously women, that's a target that's not going to be hit anytime soon because, you know, what's our Mission Impossible and the Oppenheimer, like, it's not targeted towards women. So it's targeted towards them, targeted towards, you know, young women, young girls, because Barbie, one of the best selling toys of all time. And the memes. The guys are looking forward to it. Like, you can't deny the memes are everywhere. And like guys are joking about it, but they're also like not joking about it. They will go see it
They're gonna go see it.
They're gonna see it for a laugh and be like, wow, that was actually really good. In your case, the point you made about whether Barbie is good or not, that's definitely much more volatile than Oppenheimer. I feel like we know that we're going to get something very solid from Nolan, at least. Greta Gerwig's Barbie is much more up in the air, but I think we can expect good things. I think Oppenheimer will hold on, have better legs than Barbie. I don't think it's going to be number one in the second week, just because the disparity between on how big Barbie's first weekend is compared to Nolan's. Nolan will leg it out for a while. Barbie will drop as time goes on in standard stuff because it's comedy and all that kind of stuff. The worldwide grosses is something that I think it was very hard for me to like look at that and see how it could be. Comedies that don't do well overseas. I don't know, just in the history of all comedy movies, they just don't do well overseas. I think the average was like 49% of a global figure is international for comedies. So most of it has to come from the US. And then with Oppenheimer, I'm thinking it's like, I was thinking about it, I'm like, it's a very American story.
Oh,
Is an international audience really going to react to this? And there's no China official release date. Marketing started for Oppenheimer, but there's no release date for it. So it's going to be very interesting on how they deal with that. But I guess like Top Gun Maverick it wasn't really pro-America or very American, but it was very military, patriotic kind of way. But I think it bypassed that by not saying who the enemy was or like it darted around those kind of things. But yeah, that weekend's going to be a huge weekend because Mission Impossible is looking to open up around like 80 to 90 million. So that's going to drop around there as well. It's going to be right in the fight. But movie theater's going to be busy. That's all I can say.
100%.
Yeah, looking forward to that.